Hey guys, it's Peanut and Ice Cream Bar. So I have a last minute little craft video for you guys. If you or your dolls forgot to do some shopping for the holidays, then I have some wonderful little last minute crafts you can do. I didn't want these to be too holiday themed. I tried to stick with the theme of like, you could give these things as gifts. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is a planter. This can be the easiest project in the world because really you can just go to the craft store, or the gardening center or something, buy a very tiny planter and be done. I decided to take it to a slightly different point. I went to the craft store, I got a tiny planter, I got, by far the most expensive part of this project is the fake plant, so it is very inexpensive. I also got these little wooden dowel, no, that's not what they're called, I don't really know what they're called, these little wooden things, and I'm going to take those and glue 4 of them to the bottom of my planter. Then I'm going to take 2 of them and glue them to the top of my planter. Then I'm going to paint the whole thing a nice matte gray so that it looks more cohesive, like it was always meant to be like this shape. And once that dries, I'm going to take some lovely chartreuse and just paint a little design on it. I decided to do a little face, little ears, a little tummy, and make it like a little monster planter. Oh, cute. So then all you have to do is stick your fake plant in there. You can stick a real plant in there. You can do whatever you like. You can do whatever you like. Yeah. So the next project I have is going to be probably the hardest one, but it's still pretty simple. We're going to make a Dreamcatcher, but I'm going to try and make it look like it is an oversized Dreamcatcher, because that seems like a thing you might find at Home Goods or something. So I'm going to take this metal ring and I'm going to take some unraveled yarn and just tie a knot on the metal ring. Then I'm going to continue tying a couple different knots around this metal ring, trying to keep them all about the same length apart. When I'm done with that, I'm going to take my leather lace and I'm going to wrap it around, trying to hide where I had these knots. Now, normally when you make a Dreamcatcher, you would actually reverse those 2 steps. You'd be tying the knots after you wrapped the leather around your, whatever you're using to make your Dreamcatcher. But I wanted to give this a slightly more clean, manufactured look because the yarn gives it a very crafty, falling aparty kind of look, so I just wanted to balance it out a little bit. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to take another bit of yarn and I'm going to start in the center of knots that I was tying earlier and tie a knot on that piece of yarn, and then I'm just going to go from center to center of each bit of yarn until I get all the way down to the center of my Dreamcatcher. For me, because I didn't tie very many knots, and I wanted it to look oversized, so I didn't want it to have too much small detail. It didn't take very long. It's not a very, beautiful shape or something like that, but that's okay because I wanted it to have this kind of like homey, boho, silly kind of look. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to just take the rest of my yarn, which by the way, I'm not really sure I would recommend using. It's not a very great material to work with for this particular purpose. It's just hard to tie the knots. It kept kind of unraveling even more, falling apart. But it did give me the opportunity to create this lovely little fringe, which I just made with other pieces of my unraveled yarn, leftover pieces, and I just tied on enough until it felt nice and full. Next, we're going to make a cute little stuffed animal kind of guy. This could also definitely double as an ornament or something if you actually do need like a last minute thing to give to somebody. This is not the worst idea ever. I mean, it's one idea. It's not the best idea, but it's an idea. Anyway, what you're going to do is just tie a little knot with some yarn and just keep wrapping around that knot with your yarn. And you don't really need to follow any specific method. It's supposed to look homemade. And I'm just going to make a ball. When I'm finished with that wrapping process, I'm just going to take the end of the yarn, stick it back in toward the ball, and just use a little bit of hot glue to seal it off. And then I'm just going to do that in 3 different sizes. Stack them up, and oh my gosh, it's a snowman! Now obviously you can, use sticks, you can use a little bit of hot glue to make arms, a nose, however you want to decorate your snowman. I thought he looked cute just like this, so I just took a little bit of black paint and made little eyes, and then decided to use a little bit of yarn in a different color and make him a silly oversized top hat, and I thought that was pretty cute. Pretty cute! Next, we're going to make a tray. Now this is really pretty easy, but obviously be careful when you use sharp things. I'm just going to use a doll's hand to decide how big I want the tray to be, kind of draw out the shape on my pieces of wood, and then I'm just going to cut. This is craft wood, it cuts really easily with scissors. Once I've kind of pieced everything together with hot glue, the only thing left is to figure out how to finish it off. You could do a lot of things. You could do a nice couple layers of paint, slap some gloss on there, make it be a nice fancy glossy tray. You could take printed pictures and Mod Podge and attach the pictures to the tray like that, finish it off with a layer of gloss. I decided to water down some paint to give it kind of a wood stain effect. This isn't really nice enough wood to make, get an actual wood stain and paint it, but just some watered down paint will do just fine for my purposes. I was going to spray paint the inside before everything was attached, a nice copper to match the last thing we're making, but as it turned out, the spray paint did not look so great on the wood, and it really made the areas where some of the hot glue was poking out be really, really visible. So I decided in the end to leave mine blank. It has a kind of nice little farmhousey look to it, so I think that's fine. And the last thing we're making is like so simple. You guys are really gonna just slap me in the face. It's so dumb. So, ringing endorsement. So we're going to take some furniture hardware, and these are just little knobs, and you want the kind of knobs that have the female bits, not the male bits. You don't want a knob that has a nail already embedded in the hardware. You don't want that. And I'm going to take just a little piece of wire and wrap it around the top, making a little circle. You can see this is kind of a thicker wire. I'm just doing this to make this project a little more sturdy, a little more stable. And I'm going to glue that to the top of one of my pieces of hardware. Then I'm going to add hot glue to the center just to make sure it's nice and stable. It's not going to fall over when I set it down. And I'm going to take my other piece of hardware and glue that on top. Now once this dries, I'm going to go outside and spray paint it so it's even color all around. Of course, as I was spray painting, it started to snow. So, I never actually finished spray painting this, but I think you guys can still see what I was looking to achieve. And ta-da! We have a candlestick. And if you guys aren't sure how to make candles, I did show that to you guys, at least the way that I have done it, in a previous video, 5 winter accessories or something like that. So check that out if you need to know how to make candles. And now you have a lovely decorative candlestick. So that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this little last minute video, and happy holidays everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.